What's shaking, everybody? It's Ross Mandel here, coming to you live from Willie Studios in a Delray Beach, Florida. What a beautiful, sunny, cool day it is today. What a treat I have for you guys. You're not going to believe it. He comes from Hawaii just to see you. They call him Vinny Zaldivar, but we know him better as Coco Vinny. He has literally the hottest beverage right now that exists on planet Earth. It's clean, it's fresh, it's organic, it's delicious. You're all going to love it. You might have seen him on Shark Tank. You might have seen him on The Profit, but you see him here on Going Public with Ross Mandel. Vinny, what's shaking, baby?
Coco Rossi, what's going on?
Oh, I can't wait to earn that title, my friend. Coco Vinny, and we got Coco Markley over here, who sat in this chair not too long ago, and he represented you well.
Yeah, he's taken over Florida for us. It's amazing.
Now, there's a theory that, I don't know, about 30 years ago, you were part of a cloning experiment. And Markley was the result. I mean, is there any truth to this unfounded rumor?
I don't know, but he's like a mini Coco Vinny running around these streets.
I'm telling you,
They're calling him Mr. Coco Love.
You know, when I said Coco Vinny was coming in, they were all excited to see Markley again. They love the truck and the cases what a product you guys have. It's called Coco Love, 100% cocoa water. These come from fresh live coconuts in Vietnam. And there's just nothing that touches it, dilutes it. No additives, no preservatives, MSG, sodium, heroin. Nothing, right? This is straight from the coconut into your can, into your mouth.
Yep, right from the
and
tree.
Patented and organized and sorted out.
Tree to your lips. That's right.
So what I want to do is, I love to get to know Vinny the guy.
Yeah.
Okay, because you look like Coco Vinny, you sound like Coco Vinny, you travel, but you weren't born Coco Vinny, right?
I was born a regular old, big kind of kid. I played football.
Where were you born?
78.
Now where?
Oh, where? Bellflower, California.
California, dude.
Yeah, Southern Cal. And then I was raised in Vegas.
Raised in Las Vegas.
So
now your parents, I know you have a very interesting heritage. You and I connected over that.
Yeah, my dad's Mexican.
Okay.
My mom's Jewish.
A Mexican Jew from California, raised in. I love it.
Yeah,
it's a recipe for success.
My tag with the Sharks on Shark Tank was I'm a 6'5" Mexican Jew standing here before you today. They all laughed. It was cool.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's great. So what great fun that is. But it's your company, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, not your dad's.
No.
You weren't like inheriting this whole thing.
No. Well, it's kind of funny. We're going to write a book one day, From Cocaine to Coconuts, because my dad went to jail when I was 15 for high drug trafficking.
Wow.
And it was a shock to the whole family. We lost everything.
I understand.
Cars, houses, everything gone. And we started from ground zero. I was 15, 2 full-time jobs, going to school. We still couldn't make it. So I started my own business. And, with my mom and raising my little sister, we went at it together, and we bought bought my first house at 18, and then just from there, and then I actually was able to get my dad pardoned out of prison.
You mentioned that.
It's crazy.
What a great story that is.
Well, and they said it was impossible. They threw away the key on him, 25 to life, no possibility of parole. It was a nonviolent crime.
That's the craziest. Listen, you're talking to somebody that knows how difficult that is. I just left, thousands of men, old, young, middle-aged, that really nonviolent crimes that are serving almost life,
it's
35, 30 years.
And so, inherently, I was like, well, the punishment doesn't fit the crime.
Right.
My sister's 7 years old. She's being raised without a father. And I'm like, this is terrible. So I just went at it, working, hustling, building my own business, but I was also lobbying the Supreme Court and was able to get him out after 8 years of hard work and endless nights. And I mean, the system is set up to destroy everything in its wake.
Break you down, destroy your family.
Collect calls. You know, it was costing me $1,000, $2,000 a month.
I get it.
It's not a lot of, you know.
I was just got out. I had no idea prison was that expensive. I mean, it was like crazy.
I had to put money on this thing and then food and different things. It's terrible.
And the system is designed to take advantage of those people that are the most disadvantaged. You'd think that they would give someone a break.
That whole prison industry is fascinating.
It's horrible, but it's horrible, bro.
It is bad.
It's a horrible enterprise. And let's talk about more happy things. So you're a young man. You're in Vegas. Dad's in jail. You got a little sister. You got a Jewish mom. Powerful. That's a powerful thing, I hate to say, but I want you all to know a Jewish mom is like a secret weapon. Yeah. It's like having nuclear weapons in the house.
She's a little fireball. Boy,
I can't even imagine.
She'll whoop my ass if she.
I'm sure she will.
You get on the wrong side of her.
She knows.
And she's only about 5'2", you know.
She knows how to press buttons, right? My mother terrorized me my whole life.
Yeah, but you know, at the end of the day, it's really about if you want something bad enough, you'll find a way, and necessity is the mother of all invention.
That's one of my favorite sayings.
And so my need to get my pops out was more than any excuse or any hurdle or anything like that. And I've taken those experiences to overcome daily adversities, right? There's so many things that can happen to you in a day that can just destroy your world if you let it.
Right.
But if you can just, every challenge is an opportunity. So that's where we take it. The lemons turn into lemonade, right?
Well, they don't always happen automatically, but people have more control over their lives than they ever realize. We are so powerful as human beings, God's creatures, I like to say. One of the greatest things, pieces of wisdom that I've ever learned is that shit's going to happen. Shit happens. That was a bumper sticker when I was growing up before you guys were probably born. Shit happens.
Wasn't there a smiley face on it?
It was smiley face, 100%. It was on every fucking car.
I remember that.
Shit happens. But, how you respond to those circumstances, that's what you have control over.
That's it.
And I mentor a lot of young men right now. And I think that the greatest thing I've been able to share, because I get feedback, it's all recorded and, they pay me and all these good things, but is not to react. We tend to react emotionally, and it's never usually the first reaction. If you wait 24 hours, if you still want to react the same way, go ahead.
Take a deep breath.
But 24 hours later, it's amazing how all of a sudden the same set of facts feels a little different. Because feelings lie, right? So now you're a young man. You just bought your first house. You're 18 years old. You're in Las Vegas, Nevada. You're probably a big kid at 18. You a fully grown guy?
Big guy, yeah.
Okay.
I've always been a big kid.
High school, college, anything like that?
High school and college, a little bit. I think I dropped out of college after a couple of years because my business was taking off.
What kind of business were you in then?
I had a whole massage business. I had 18 therapists working for me. I was working with athletes and high-stress individuals. And that was actually how I got my dad out of prison. I had a network of high-net-worth individuals that had influence. And they all wrote letters. I built this book of influence. And they were calling the governor and yo, did you hear about this case? And it just spread with my whole network of clients. I was a born healer. I would help all kinds of people, their neck
with
and
your
their back.
own hands.
Oh yeah, I was one of the strongest guys. I could pick you up off the table.
Well, yeah,
and put you
it's
back
good to
together.
have a big guy. I like the hard massage.
Some of these 7-foot basketball players and they blow a hamstring. It takes strength to pick up that leg, right? Yeah. And that kind of stretches and all that stuff. So I was doing that.
So you were trained in this massage,
I was trained under physical therapists and chiropractors and sports, nutritionists.
So you learned you're a natural healer.
Yeah, for sure. I was helping with a lot of different things like that. So
and then you built a whole little business, right?
Built that business, like I said.
18 therapists.
Yep. We had, you ever go to Fremont Street down in Vegas? Under the canopy of lights?
It depends who's asking.
Back in the day, I had all these chairs, shoulders and neck massages.
Oh my God!
And we built that thing I was 19, 20, and we were doing shoulder massages for $2 a minute back then. And we were making $2-3 grand a day cash.
Right,
it was just crazy, down on the street. We just
it's
set
so
up the
great.
chair. So
I actually have done that, just so you know.
We were hustling, man.
Yep.
I mean, and so that was where I started, and I took a lot of that money. I was just investing in stocks and different things and just making moves. I had a cattle ranch. I had all kinds of different things I take shots on.
Really?
Yeah, I was young and aggressive because I didn't have anything to lose. I was already from the ground floor.
Right.
I was just I would watch CNBC religiously. I didn't even know what that ticker meant. I was just staring at it.
I love it.
And I mean, like that's
I learned how to trade off that ticker, just so you know.
I was always staring at that thing. I'm like, what is this Japanese running across the thing? And I just, I learned about all kinds of things like that. Small cap, market caps, revenues.
So you've had an appetite
always
for like more, right?
Always.
For more.
Yeah.
I mean, were you old enough when your dad went to prison to know that, you lost everything? Was that something?
Oh, I knew the moment I got the phone call.
How old were you when you?
15.
Okay, so you really knew. Yeah.
And my dad was interesting.
And your sister was a little kid. I mean.
Yeah, she was a little baby. 7
wow.
years old. 6,
How old was your mom? Do you remember offhand?
Yeah, my mom was 40, 42, 41, 43, somewhere.
Yeah, yep. It's crazy, right? It's
nuts.
so crazy.
It's nuts. It's traumatic.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, my wife at the time was 42. Mm-hmm. I left 2 daughters behind, 14 and 11.
That's awful. Yeah,
it was the most
traumatic,
painful thing.
Painful experience for them and for you.
Well, for me, when you're inside, it's interesting. You're just trying to survive.
Yeah.
Of course, you're worried as fuck about your family, but you can only call sometimes.
You don't know what's going on out there.
You're very limited. You have no
box.
idea. You're boxed out. And you're trying to just get along and not get hurt and do the time and not get in trouble and all these different things. You're doing everything you can to be there, but like when my daughter said to me, Daddy, I need you. And she couldn't even call me. She couldn't see. It was like, one of those times I'm inside. I cried. It's brutal. But all right. So now let's move along. You're in Vegas. You have the massage business. You're working on getting your dad out.
Yep.
Vinny in his 20s. I guess that's where we're looking.
So I got my pops at it when I was about 23 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember the day going to pick him up from there.
You remember which place?
Yeah, it was up in Indian Springs, Nevada, or something.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was nuts.
I can relate to this story more than I can express to you right now. But
yeah,
wow.
went and picked him up, and then I was already, I had a cattle ranch. I had 2 businesses. I had the massage business and then the cattle ranch at the same time. They called me the massager. So, but yeah, it was just like, I was always into something.
I love it,
and
bro.
all the guys, back in the day, there was this cat named Carl, he's an Italian guy, and he's like you're Vinny Fingers. He's like, 'cause you got your fingers in everything,
that.
So they called me Vinny Fingers back in the day. I was always taking shots. I was always trying to connect dots and make moves and figure it out. Similar to Markley, he had his limo company and all that. So, at the end of the day, you gotta be hungry. You gotta want it. You gotta keep raising the bar or having higher expectations for your life, or always be improving. You're always learning, and if you're not growing, you're dying, right?
Right.
I mean,
I agree with that.
So you just gotta be awake.
I love it. I think that your attitude.
Yeah, I mean,
for me, it's that's what it is, but it should be infectious.
I reflect back, and I'm like, man, in my 20s, I raised millions and millions of dollars for small cap companies, private and public. I've helped a lot of different deals, just
connecting dots.
Just because I'm out there and vibrating.
You're in the game. You're mentally in the game.
And I'm just like, oh, you should meet this person, and it's a boom, and then it just happens, right?
I love it.
Sometimes they take care of me, sometimes they didn't, and then and then you learn.
I understand.
You learn.
You protect yourself.
And so it's like, that's the thing. Like, if I had to do it all over again, I would spend more time and energy on my own projects more than other people's projects, because you have more control over it. And also protect yourself, right?
Right.
If you're going to do a deal for somebody, make sure that you're
protected.
Protected. That make sure it's documented what you're getting for what.
Yeah, at least have some piece of paper.
If I
that
do
says,
A, I
correct.
get
correct.
and B, I get C.
100%.
That's the whole thing. So that's
I had to learn the hard way too.
I think a young man's lesson, right? If you do it earlier, you'll be better off.
But also, I feel like you're telling my story to an extent. I was on the street in my early 20s. raising, millions and millions for everything you could ever think of. Remember, think about it. I went in '83, right? Think about there's no cellular yet. I saw every cellular deal. Wayne Huizenga pitched us this idea.
He's a sports guy, right?
Well, listen, Wayne Huizenga comes to and pitches our boardroom. He was raising money. He says, we're going to have a video store on every main street in every town and every city in this country. You're going to be able to go in and just get any movie you want to see or any event, and you take it home and you pop it into your VHS Blockbuster Video.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
I mean, I'm around for the beginning of PCs, the internet, computers, chips. I funded everything. Cellular, you can't, the ups, the downs, I seen all. In 1987, I watched my own 30 million go down to 2 million. I watched about 300 million of people's money go down to 20 million.
Yeah.
Instantly, it was so bad I got sober. I checked into rehab. That's how bad it was, bro. I mean, I said I can't handle it.
87?
87, crash of 87. I was already a stud, bro. A stud. The market went down like 25% in one day.
Can you imagine if we could go back there right now?
Oh God.
We'd be buying Microsoft.
You'd be buying a lot of different things. How about in 2000, the .com crash? I watched Amazon. The Amazon you know and love go from 330 to 3.
Damn.
In 5 weeks.
That's unreal.
To 3.
$3 a share for Amazon.
$3 for Amazon.
$1 million in Amazon there.
Just think about it.
Game over.
Just think about how crazy that was.
Tesla wasn't even public yet.
No, there was no Tesla.
There was no Tesla yet.
No, 2000. So I've been on the forefront of all these different technologies, and the first thing guys do is run down to the street, and I was considered one of the most, from 1984 through 2006, I was considered in the top tier of fundraisers.
No kidding.
In the whole world, not in this
Wow.
country, in the whole world. That's what I've done. Billions.
So you crossed with Icon and all those guys?
Every one of them. I represented Carl Icahn when we green-mailed U.S. Steel. I was the broker on that deal.
Wow.
That was the first time I got into Wall Street Journal.
That's crazy.
Carl was a former stockbroker, so his old desk partner worked in my firm, and Carl used to send him money to help him out. His name was Lou Fields. Lou, Carl, we're shaking, guys. And they used to, Lou was like, he'd come to me, he goes, Ross, I think this U.S. Steel's a big winner, because we were giving U.S. Steel from someone that was pretty shrewd.
Yeah. Wasn't that ticker X?
X.
I remember
It was
that.
a Dow 30. And
I
it was
used
valued.
to trade X a little bit.
It
It's
was
funny.
valued as a shitty steel company.
Uh-huh.
But they owned an asset called Marathon Oil, which was worth more than everything.
Mm-hmm.
But they still looked at it as a steel company. So Carl filed a 13D. We acquired over 5% of the company, and we filed. So in the filing, in the reveal, the disclosure, the SEC document, the stated purpose of acquiring the stock was to increase shareholder value.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about the separation of Marathon Oil, the spinoff. Stock goes up $20,
Unreal.
and Carl was selling. So he put the story in the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah.
Everybody ran to buy it, and we sold it. Carl made his first real money,
Off X.
the first real money,
Uh-huh.
to go ahead now and become the Carl Icahn you guys all know.
That's
It
wild.
was the first we called it green mail, not blackmail. This was green mail. He threatened the board.
Yeah.
If you're not going to increase
Shake your
shareholder
bait.
value,
If you're not making moves,
I'm going to do it.
Then
I'm going to
move.
throw you all out, right?
Yeah.
And the stock goes up $20. $22.
Shareholder activism, right?
Right.
Unbelievable.
It was really great. That was my first, shot. That was 1990, 89 and 90. But this is your story today, my brother.
Okay.
So you are still in Nevada at this point? You're
Yeah.
still in Nevada. Cattle ranch, dad's out,
Mm-hmm.
and the massage business. Take us through a timeline.
So, then I like I said, I was helping raise millions of dollars for other companies, private and public.
You're learning the extent of what you can do,
You learn in your power.
Right.
I knew that I was absolutely capable of anything in the world after getting my dad out. I learned my power.
Wow.
Because
Interesting.
when you speak something and truly want it and believe in it, and then act upon it, you're invincible.
When the
You're
universe
invincible.
delivers. I get it.
And things like that kept happening to me. I'd say, you know what? I want to go do this. I write it down, speak it, and then I go take action on it, and it's done. So, I started doing that with my life. I said, you know what? I want to run a marathon. Boom. I ran
a little heavy.
Yeah. I got down to 215 pounds. I lost 100 pounds. I ran a full marathon in 4 hours and 40 minutes.
What?
LA
That's
marathon.
a good time, bro.
I've done the half marathon. The half Ironman in Hawaii twice. So I basically put them together. I got a whole Ironman under my belt.
I love it, bro.
But, for a big guy.
Oh, my God.
That's virtually impossible,
Impossible.
Right? Not here.
It's all mental.
Make it happen. 9 months of training, you can do anything.
Right.
And I was doing the 4-hour bike rides and the
Wow, the
2-hour swims.
Wow.
And swim, bike, run. Everything.
I have some friends that are Ironman for real, and boy, they are
it's a whole different level. It's a whole
the
different.
body could do pretty much anything.
That's it.
It's up to the mind.
And truthfully, I'm about to do something like that again because it's like I got so off, building business and focus on one thing, right? So you
hyper focus.
You hyper focus on one thing. You're gonna.
You got to sacrifice. Sacrifice. That's a big word in my life.
So that's how we get results in certain things. We laser in and we execute, and then it's like, get up and say, okay, now what we're gonna do.
Right.
So that's really what I've learned in my life. Is like you can have anything, but you can't have everything at the same time.
Yeah, you know what? It's a give and take world. So sacrifice and discipline are two things right now. These are words that I incorporate in my life. I have to sacrifice a lot of things because I want to. There's certain things that I'm building, and I'm really focused on it. So
trade-offs.
I'm giving up a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, after all that, I've done some crazy stuff. Like there's a real true story. The cattle ranch I was in, the guy was stealing from us. I caught him. I had to liquidate this entire 1,000 head of cattle in less than 2 days. Go in with the livestock board, the sheriffs, the trucks, and just load up and roll. Liquidate, right?
What?
So it's a true story. At the end of all that exercise, I was upside down. Me and my investors were upside down big time. And I was like, look, guys, I don't know how I'm going to pay it back, but I'm going to pay it back. I said, I could BK this now and I'd be fine. But I didn't do that.
Right.
I said, give me some time to figure it out, and it'll happen. And true story, I middled the deal, sold artwork, believe it or not,
great business
to the Bellagio. Every room in the Bellagio.
That's my favorite hotel in Vegas.
Yeah, mine too. Every room, and they sell Coco Love and our coconuts, by the way.
Damn.
So what's crazy is I put a deal together, and I middled it. I got a commission, and that paid back all my shareholders, that one deal. I sold millions of dollars of artwork to the whole MGM Resort.
I love it,
group,
bro.
Just like that, and so you never know, but
with some connection, obviously, you were connected to someone.
Well,
to make it happen.
So through my network,
right?
I had a friend that was over here, and one of my clients had this art company, and I just connected the dots.
You hooked it up.
But I did it, in an untraditional way. Traditionally, you'd have to go see one little, designer at a time, and da-da-da. I catered a huge art show. I brought in the beautiful Italian lunch, and then I invited every designer. So we did, for 24 hours, we had every designer that came by and saw the artwork and ate lunch, and it was a done deal. And I got the millions like that.
And the Bellagio is beautiful.
It was just when they built that new tower and they redid everything.
It's in such great taste, the Bellagio.
It was when Steve Wynn was running it. It was just beautiful.
I was a real, before I went in,
Uh-huh.
I was, because of my Wall Street background, I used to send in, I used to wire $100,000 before I
into
show
the
up.
cage. Yeah.
And I would walk at Mr. Mandel, what are you signing? So you put up 100, they give me $1 million, just so you know. It was like really wild. I was at 8 casinos. I had my way, whatever I wanted to do.
It's crazy, right?
It's rooms.
Oh man,
the food, the shows.
Certain
things I don't want to bring up. This is a
family show.
A family show, sort of.
So, but at the end of the day, after all of that, you learn who you are, you learn who you want to be, and you have to have integrity. You have to be a man of your word. No matter what's in the contract, you got to do what you said you're going to do. And so, even though we didn't expect all this and things go wrong, you got to fix it.
That's it. If there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
I've learned that through handling investments for just the wealthiest people in the world for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
One thing about the wealthy, they make money. They used to make money. They understand what it's like to lose money.
Yeah.
They get it, but they also understand what's next. How are we going to get it back? What are we going to do? How are you going to make it good? What else are we doing?
Yep.
So it's just, when you're a young guy in the business, I've seen a lot of guys fold their tent and run. They just run. They can't face the music.
No.
And they can't say, listen, something happened. We fucked up. I'm in trouble.
You know, you lose millions of dollars and you jump out of a building. There's
I've seen people kill themselves, literally.
Yeah.
I have seen.
I know. And if you're not mentally prepared and strong and understand, you'll do the same thing.
You got to be emotionally strong, too. You know what I mean?
And you have to have good people around you that grounds you, that roots you, that keeps you solid.
You have to have people
you
that
you
can talk to.
You got to have a team that keeps you in check.
100%.
Ego is not your amigo.
I love that. You taught me that.
Ego is not your amigo.
I think he told me that.
Yeah.
That was from Markley. But I want you to know.
Check your ego.
I have guys, and all through my business career, when I started my own brokerage firm in '95, one of the most important things that all my attorneys, accountants, etc., said, Russ has to have someone that says no, willing to say no to him. Mm-hmm. Because I was very hard to say no to in my...
Yeah, we're persuasive.
And I get
energy.
My moxie, that's it, here's what we're doing.
You got that.
Like, whoa. Easy does it type.
Chutzpah.
Chutzpah, I love that.
You got the chutzpah, right? And I mean, and you have to, just like you said, you have to temper your emotions. Sometimes you got to know when to be excited, and sometimes you got to know when to be mellow,
chill, rational.
Coco chill.
I love it, man.
Yeah. So, and we'll fast forward.
Yeah.
Okay?
Let's do that.
I did all that good stuff. Learn business. My last company was an internet gaming company. I learned who I was through all of these different deals in different industries, and that's how I came up into the coconuts.
Okay.
Because I realized that what made me happy and what made me tick wasn't just the money.
Correct.
And it was like the mission and the passion and something healthy and vibrant and fun. See, I like to have a good time.
Baby, you're talking about Mr. Fun here.
Okay. But, laugh and enjoy and the fruits of... and
this is our lives.
Yeah.
If you can't enjoy what you do, what are you doing?
People are so stiff and serious and
miserable.
Oh, I hate that.
I do too.
So I said the next thing I do, when I left my last company, I said the next thing I do is going to be good for people, good for planet, and fun. Fun. Those three things. If it didn't have those three things, I wasn't going to do it.
I love it.
And we have fun every day now. We're going out. We're making people smile. I play the ukulele. We're sampling Coco Love, and people are like, "Oh my gosh, I need this. I love it."
But stories. But I want to break this down a little bit because I know that Vietnam becomes something. Something must have happened in Vietnam for you to figure all that out. So now, where are you when you begin the Coco journey?
Okay.
Where are you? Where is Vinny? Were you in Hawaii yet, or that comes later?
No, I was doing the half Ironman.
Okay.
For the first time, and somebody handed me this god awful coconut water. I don't want to say names.
Okay.
We'll just call it Coco Hate. They handed me a carton of this Coco Hate.
I have so much of this shit, boy.
And I tried it, and I go, oh, get it out of here. I'm not drinking that. I don't care how good it is for me. I'm out. And so I started there. Then, after one of my races, I just done like crazy long training session or something. Somebody handed me an ice cold, fresh coconut. And this thing was a spiritual experience. I was like, that's coconut water, right? I was like, that's the truth.
Nothing like it.
From the tree to your lips. And so I was like, okay, so that other stuff, that Coco Hate, was not it. But this is it.
It's what God gave us.
God's Gatorade, baby. And so I literally started cracking open coconuts with a knife and a hammer. And then I broke this knife, and the knife belonged to my stepdad, and he got pissed because it was his prized possession German knife. So I was like, all right.
Solingen, Germany. That's where these knives come from.
There's some pain. I'm going to solve it. Boom. I made the Coco Tap Toolkit. I invented, I designed, invented, manufactured the toolkit. Okay.
Now explain to the audience what that means.
And so basically it's a device that you can tap a fresh coconut, makes it into a resealable device. You drink it. Like you drink it out of a glass or like out of a bottle, but it screws right in the coconut.
Could you physically do it, manually do it?
Yeah.
Can anybody do it, or it's got to be a big guy like you?
No. Anybody can saw a hole into the coconut with the tool.
Right.
And then screw in the tap. That's it. That was the.
So you created this invention.
The inventor of the Coco Tap.
And you patented it.
Patented, manufactured, made in USA.
Don't try and steal this.
You try it.
You can't let the Chinese try and grab this.
You try it.
This is the crux of our big trade war with China right now.
I will outsell any Chinaman out there. Don't worry.
Do you understand? These Chinese just steal. They don't care.
They can steal and cheat and everything.
It's not right, right?
They'll never be us.
That's the topic of my podcast tomorrow. My
really?
selfie tomorrow.
Okay.
Is how the Chinese just steal.
Yeah.
When I came into business, everybody's like, you can't go to China. So why can't we go to China? Because they steal it. What do you mean steal? It's patented. They said they don't respect patents.
But that's why I didn't take it there.
Of course.
I made it in USA. I made it here local, and I beat their quotes because I had them quoted. I beat their quotes here local.
I love it.
Saved on all the shipping, saved on all IP risk, saved on all that.
Did you actually sell this thing?
Yeah, it's on Amazon. It's on our website.
Wow.
CocoTaps.com.
CocoTaps.com. You hear that, guys?
So I went on to Shark Tank. I pitched the sharks. They didn't believe in it.
Okay.
I started branding the coconuts and tapping them and selling it as a tapping service. So Bellagio, Mandalay Bay, Wynn, all of them started using the Coco Tap. I mean, you can go today to any resort on the Strip and buy the fresh tapped coconut along with Coco Love.
They're buying the coconut itself?
The fresh tapped coconut that says Bellagio.
And your devices on it?
Yeah, it's tapped.
It's cheap enough that they can sell it like that, just like that?
They're selling them for like $15 a coconut up there.
Right. They sell water for like $12.
Yeah, so you can get the freshest coconut water from the coconut.
Right from the coconut.
That was the beginning. Then when COVID hit, all the resorts, all
that
the cruise
was
ships,
the beginning, right?
Everything closed,
shut down,
and then the price of coconuts tripled. And I said, "Ain't this a bitch?" So that's when I got on planes during COVID, when nobody knew it was safe to do anything.
Probably flew by yourself.
Yeah,
I hate to say it.
We flew to Puerto Rico. We started buying land there. We got 200 acres there. Costa Rica, we got land there, and we've been planting coconuts. We started planting our own coconuts just as a hedge, so this shit can never happen again.
I get it.
So we're gonna have millions of coconuts coming soon.
Actually, if that shit ever happens again, you're golden.
We're ready.
You're gonna have your own coconuts.
And it's happening now. Feels like with this tariffs and all this other stuff.
Potentially
some weird stuff. But anyways, so in unison, I said, how else are we gonna pivot and scale our business so we don't get screwed again? Coco Love. When the Sharks didn't believe, I told them when Mark Cuban went out, I said Coco Love. When Lori went out, I said, Coco Love. And so that was my moment where I'm like, that's a great brand. Boom. And then that's when we started Coco Love in the can.
I love it.
Found the sweetest, best Vietnamese coconuts ever, and we just launched it.
Where in Vietnam?
So, you know where Ho Chi Minh City is?
I don't know, but yeah.
Well,
that's the old Saigon or Hanoi?
Yeah, Saigon. Yeah, so,
right.
But not too far from there is where all the coconut trees and everything are at. And so... But we're doing good stuff, man. I mean, it's a beautiful thing.
So did you fly over there?
Oh yeah, we're going again this summer. So
wow.
Yeah, you should come with us.
You know what? I just might end up doing that. I tell you that I got a call about 15 years ago, and I was going through my legal stuff. Mm-hmm. I'd sold my last brokerage firm, right? Mm-hmm. Sky Cal cashed out, sold all my portfolio companies. I had a big hedge fund. I sold 8 different properties. Kevin Feldman, what checking, baby? Kevin was. A friend of ours. We grew up in Northwood, New York, and Long Island. And the Wrestler brothers, Richie and Tony Wrestler, went to Beverly Hills with Michael Milken.
Oh, wow.
Back in the late 80s, early 90s, when all that was going. They created Junk Bonds, these guys. Richie and Tony are both lawyers.
They built the Mirage with that.
Correct.
Yeah.
And they built a lot of things. These guys, Richie for 30 years had the biggest house in Beverly Hills. Tony is... a part owner of one of the basketball teams in Atlanta. I married a TV star. They ended up working with Leon Black, Apollo Management. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is like family, bro. Mishpacha, as we say, you know. And Kevin Feldman was a friend of mine. He sees me on Facebook because I was posting a lot before I went in. I have like 20,000 people now, but, you know, 15 years ago, I was like one of the pioneers like that. I was a beta for Facebook early on. Just,
wow.
Yeah.
The Facebook.
I love that, right? Think about the difference, Facebook. So Kevin calls me up and says, listen, I'm in town. I'd love to see you because we were good friends. We grew up in right around the same block. I said, what are you doing? He goes, I'm going to Vietnam. I said, what are you doing in Vietnam? Well, you know, I was looking for something to do, and Richie and Tony bought the phone company in Vietnam.
Wow.
They own the second biggest phone company in Vietnam. And I'm running it. I'm the CEO. I said, really? I mean, how is it? He goes, it's pretty amazing. He goes, but I have to live there. Like,
Gotta be
9,
there.
10 months a year.
Yeah.
I said, okay, I don't know what's that like. I'm so in my own little bubble. I'm on Wall Street. I'm making, I was worth a couple $100 million, to be honest. And, I have 4 homes. I'm in Trump Tower. I had a 10,000 square foot house in Boca. I had a house on the ocean on Long Island, not too far from Manhattan. And then I bought a townhouse in London, in Belgravia, the West End of London, because I was a big player in London. I went public there twice, and I took about 9 to 10 other companies public on that exchange. Mm-hmm. I had 30,000 square feet in London, in the city proper.
Wow.
So we got into this whole discussion, and he was pitching me on Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, if I could just fucking make some sort of settlement with the feds, which I could have done. But I said, I can't believe...
You wanted to fight him.
No, I just said I really believed in this country, and I still do. And how could somebody put me in jail for something that I didn't do?
Right.
But not only did I not do what they said, what they claimed, their narrative didn't even happen.
Right.
Didn't happen. They created this narrative.
Fabricated story.
Because I had 4 brokers that had a little scheme against their clients with my operations officer who took responsibility and went in front of the judge.
They said you were the kingpin.
And they wanted to make me the kingpin. And he said, well, no, if Ross would have knew, he would have thrown us all out. I was living in Florida, traveling the world. I was semi-retired, but they wanted me, big cat, big name.
They wanted to pin you.
Yeah.
And you had the most money.
And the judge says, well, then you're not accepting responsibility. He says, I did it, Your Honor. Wow. So all the guys that committed the crime spent 1 day in jail, in and out.
Damn.
The guys that orchestrated it, he did 3 years in a camp. He really did about 18 months. But the 2 guys that had nothing to do with this stuff,
they put you guys on.
Because we challenged the government.
So this is a key example where ego was not your amigo.
Correct. It was my ego.
Because you could have probably just said, all right, here's 2 million, 5 million, 10 million.
I would have taken 10 in a second.
10 million, and you're out, and you're done.
Well, I would have had to do some things, but you're right.
The ego, because you think you could beat it, or you think that these guys did 2 days. It was ego.
I just knew the crime that they would tell me I did didn't happen. I did plenty of things in my day, Vinny.
Oh, for sure.
I'm no angel.
Well,
I'm no Markley Medina. I've done some things.
That's the thing with my dad. It's just you get in your head and you think you're invincible. You think you can't be beat, and then you get beat.
But I just felt like God was in my corner.
I know.
I felt like God was watching, and I used to talk to God. I'd say, God, you and I know this didn't happen.
But the devil wears really good godly clothes.
Yeah, well, the story of Job is very interesting. You know the story of Job?
I don't.
Okay, the story of Job is in the Bible. It's a very short story, but it's one of the most impactful things for people that have. So one day, God is praising. He's in heavenly court. He's praising his angels, including Satan there, about the most righteous man on earth. His name is Job. Rich, prosperous, good man, God-fearing, loves his family. Satan says, yeah, let me have a few minutes with him. Watch how he denounces you.
Wow.
And so God says, all right, go ahead, give it a shot. And Satan lightning hits Job's anniversary party, kills his whole family. Loses his whole family. Wow. And he gets on his knees and he cries to God, what did I do to anger you so? Mm-hmm. And Satan's freaking out because he still believes in God. He's still praising God. He's taking blame for something he didn't have nothing to do with.
Right.
And so then absolute tragedy keeps hitting him to the point where he has, welts and open sores all over his body. And they put him outside the city walls. That's what they did in those days because they had no cures for some of these diseases. And he was laying on the floor on a rag outside this. He was the richest man in the city at one time, the most prosperous man, the most righteous man. And he kept saying to God, God, what have I done to anger you and your greatness and your glory? And Satan just can't break him. And then his friends would come out, one at a time and said, listen, what's happening? What did you do? We don't understand, because they knew him to be a righteous man. Mm-hmm. And, it must be God. He's bad. He's evil. And he said, no, God is great. It's me. I don't know what I've done. And then finally God says, enough. Enough. And all of a sudden the sores on Job's body began to heal. Mm-hmm. And some traders come in. And because he's outside the gates, he gets first crack at him, and they have an opportunity. And he brings the opportunity in to the mayor and now Job is back in the game.
Yeah.
And God blesses him with a new wife and a new family, and he becomes literally the richest man in the whole city, which if you read this story, it's like the world. And it's just a great story. So
That's awesome. Well, and that's the thing. You never know why or how or what, but as long as you stay to your core, cream rises to the top, baby.
Always.
You can take everything away from everybody, and the people who are the people are going to be the people.
Over
right?
time. Correct. And that's what I love about the bear market, you know. Because in a bull market, everybody looks like a hero.
Right.
When things get tough,
Yeah.
and the real men show up. Now, Coco Love. First of all, it's a great name.
Thank you.
It's a great name. It's easy to identify. Anything with love. I mean, come on, stop it. Stop it.
It's the core of
I'm
it.
personally a coconut guy. So when Coco Markley shows up with pulp, I love pulp. I like my orange juice with pulp.
Yeah.
I'm just that guy, and everybody's different. But I love, fruit and the flavor, and I'm truly a legit coconut guy. The only person I ever met that doesn't like your product or love your product says, I don't like coconuts.
Right.
He's got like a thing against coconuts.
Well, he's a cocoa hater.
It's just weird, right? There's haters everywhere.
No, but some people don't like cilantro. Some people hate tomatoes.
I'm not a cilantro guy.
Yeah, so there's genetics there's a
But
little
you know what?
twist.
There's billions of people that will
Billions.
literally billions
of
literally
people.
that will
Literally.
live for this product if they can get to it.
I'd
and they
say
can afford it.
I'd say out of the 9 billion people in the world, I'd say 8 billion, 800 million of them are going to be Coco lovers.
I say at least 1 billion will be sipping your Coco Love from their nearest retailer very soon.
Yeah,
in the next 2 years,
we're
3 years.
We're
That's a lot of coconuts, though.
No, it's a lot. That's
Do
why
they grow that fast? I mean, like how?
we have to plant.
What's the lifespan? Like, how does a palm tree generate all these
Coconuts produce for 30 to 100 years, depending on the tree. But we have to plant millions more because there's not enough coconuts on this world for all these beautiful people. And that's what my whole mission is. On every can, it talks about roots for change. We're planting coconut trees, in the United States to create the coconut reserve of the United States. That's something that we need because we're such a big consumer of coconuts, but we don't grow any. And we're a net importer. So we want to talk about flipping the GDP and going that way. We need to grow coconuts local. And that's the...
Where would they grow? I know they grow in Florida, right?
Florida, Puerto Rico, and Hawaii. Puerto Rico and Hawaii are the places I've identified where we're gonna plant that out.
And that's because of the weather is similar to Vietnam? Or?
For sure.
So I had I had a mani-pedi day, just so you know, on Sunday.
Looking good.
Right? At the salon, the Venetian Salon on Military Trail in Boca Raton. And I had I was fortunate to meet the lovely Snow.
Okay.
She told me I couldn't pronounce a Vietnamese name. But she's from Ho Chi Minh City.
Yeah.
And she was telling me her story a little bit. And I said, I have a little bit of a Vietnam story. I tell the Kevin Feldman phone company story. And then I tell the Markley Medina Coco Vinny story that this Coco Love. And I asked her about the weather because it was a very hot day this past Sunday. It was like almost 90 degrees.
Yeah,
it felt like almost 94 with the humidity. And she says, it's a little hotter in Vietnam. Mm-hmm. It's a little hotter. How'd you discover the Vietnam coconut?
Well, it's interesting because I was buying all my coconuts from Thailand.
Thailand?
Yeah, I was buying them all from Thailand. I still source some from Thailand too for the fresh. But I just discovered that Vietnam has a better sweetness to it. There's just something about them that just spoke to me. And that's how, and then I had a good family friend that's there, that's on the ground that could help me maneuver while I'm not,
You got to have somebody there, right?
We
got
got
to have
quality
people.
controls. We got all this stuff. So,
but not all coconuts are created equal. Is that fair to say?
Not at all.
Because I've had some coconuts, fresh coconuts, by the way, that I cut that came down out of my tree. I had like 12 palm trees in my backyard.
No, you know.
And, I had a machete and all these different things. I didn't know about your little invention.
Get you a tap kit.
Because it was very difficult to get into these coconuts. I'll be honest. It was
the
like
worst.
cracking in a safe.
Yeah.
Nature has provided them. Like Tom Hanks in the movie where he gets stuck on the...
Castaway.
And he's trying to figure out how to friggin' get into a coconut. I've had a similar experience with them. And I had like a hammer, and I had all these different things, and I still couldn't figure out how to get this friggin' coconut.
Yep.
But some of the coconuts were not so good. The
No.
juice wasn't so great.
No.
Why is that?
There's just so much that can happen if it doesn't get enough water, if it's an old tree will start to create some old nuts.
I get.
You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I can relate to that. I got a pair of old nuts right now. John, how are your nuts? I mean, let's be honest.
It's just
I got old Jewish nuts. I mean, his Italian nuts are probably a little bit more, sturdy.
Well,
But I get that.
like I said, our nuts are always shaved, sweet, and juicy.
I love it.
And, we always do the right thing. We always produce the sweetest quality, highest quality coconuts that money can buy.
So let me ask you a question. Let's say you have a palm tree in Vietnam, right?
Yep.
And it's right in the right spot, in the right area, a lot of rain, the moist
Everything.
weather, all
Perfect.
the good stuff, right? And you guys come in and they harvest these coconuts, right? How long before, and you get a bunch of good coconuts.
Yeah.
How long before the tree can reproduce?
It's producing year round. So every quarter you'll get another big old harvest.
Really?
Every quarter, man, these things kick.
From the same tree?
You can get 300 coconuts per tree per year.
Really?
Yeah.
It's healthy trees.
Yeah.
I never knew that. That's crazy.
So, when we plant out 10,000 acres in the United States,
That's the move.
300 million coconuts a year.
That's the move.
That's the move.
Puerto Rico's cheaper.
Puerto Rico, Hawaii. I think there's some opportunity in Florida. Believe
I
it or
think so,
not.
too.
It needs the industry.
I think so, too.
Localizing food supply is a huge thing. Food security, and also,
We learned that during COVID.
there's only so many parking lots and high rises
Right.
we can put up.
Right.
We need food, air, and water.
Correct.
Clean food, air, and water is going to be the really scarce commodity that we're all going to need.
They say water especially, believe it or not.
And the most powerful water filtration device on earth is that coconut tree.
Is it
When
really?
the water goes through that fiber and it goes into the coconuts, it is sterile. It's clean air, water, and food.
So let
Coconut.
me ask you the secret to Coco Love. This is what your man on the ground, Coco Markley, has convinced me that literally it goes straight from a coconut through your invention, really, I guess, into this can. 100% coconut water, never from concentrate. That's big, everybody. I go to the supermarket. I've been buying coconut water from Whole Foods for 15 years. There was a time, and my wife will tell you, that we only had coconut water for me.
Really?
Only
That's wild.
Because I worked out a lot. I used to fight, train
Right.
in MMA. I found it was the way for me to stay hydrated. Regular water didn't do that, and I think because there's some sort of natural electrolytes or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Potassium, calcium, phosphorus, iron.
You don't get that in
sodium.
bottled water,
No.
regular bottled water that I was
No.
drinking.
A lot of the water makes you thirstier because they're just purifying it and they're not putting the trace minerals back in it.
Right.
See, there's so many things that you need from nature that we as humans can't.
Talk about it, because I want to educate the world. Because
Well, it's just one ingredient. It's simple.
there's only one ingredient.
That's it. No
There's
sugar, no preservatives, nothing. Like it's the truth.
Now, when I go to the store,
Yeah.
Whole Foods, which is considered, the temple of friggin' healthy food, that's their impression. But the coconut waters in there essentially all have other ingredients.
Well, they put guar gums and different sugars, and they're buying waste coconut water. When I say waste, you have a coconut oil manufacturer.
Correct.
They have water left over. They throw that out. Look, they're buying trash. Okay.
Explain this to the audience. I want people to understand.
We're
You're
different.
sourcing coconuts,
fresh,
coconut
specifically
milk or coconut water straight from the
water
coconut.
From the coconut. We're doing that on purpose.
And they were coconuts, so that are used for other things like the manufacture
Different
of
strains of
coconut
coconuts.
oil.
Some coconuts have a lot
So
of
now they
meat.
want to make use of the pulp and the water in the coconut.
They reconstitute it. They take it to a powder, then they ship it across the world, then they reconstitute it,
And that's what people are drinking. They don't realize.
We're not from concentrate, so we're not doing things to shave the quality and just to save a couple pennies, right?
Right.
These multinational public companies, wherever they are, they're doing that. They're cutting lots of corners, and they're suffering on quality. I can
They're
taste
suffering
it.
on quality, but they're making the money right now. They've controlled the market up to this point.
Sure. But you know what?
They've controlled them. They've fooled the world up to this point.
All good things must come to an end.
Cream
when,
rises.
When the cocoa cream always rises to the top. And we don't sell on price. We sell on taste. We sell on service, and we sell on impact.
Quality.
Shake it, shake it.
Yeah, I want to try this one. This is very
I
exciting.
got something for you to try.
I love that.
I got something for you.
Well, I want to talk about that.
Let's talk about
that's
this.
very exciting. That is very exciting.
This is something that's this is the first time the public's ever going to see this is on this show.
Wow.
I'm dropping it to you here live on Ross Mandel.
Did you guys hear that? This is going to be an
That's-
exclusive and a
that's-
first. Another Mandel first here.
There you go.
Coco Love. It looks like a
Gold, baby.
It looks
Coco
like
Love
some
Gold.
sort of mysterious can. I mean,
Well, you got the pulp right there.
oh my God.
It's the bomb, baby.
Oh my God.
It's the bomb, baby. Cocoa bomb,
It's
malicious.
half a meal to me. So I'm drinking Coco Love.
I think on the other show, Ross said that Coco Love was better than sex.
At my age, you know.
Well, I can't let you drink alone.
Wow. Big chunks of coconut in here.
L'chaim,
L'chaim, my brother.
let's go.
L'chaim. Nastrovia.
It's good.
Coconut water. Now, this is with pulp. Mm-hmm. This is for serious coconutters. Mm-hmm. Without the pulp, I mean, you could just keep drinking it. I feel like you almost can't get enough.
Yeah.
I walk around, every doctor I see, every examination I've been to in like the last 20 years. So what do you see, doc? Well, you're dehydrated.
Yeah.
You're dehydrated. I go into, for an MRI. Lady says, you look dehydrated. I mean, what's with me? What's my rap? I mean, everyone tells me I'm dehydrated, but this is really never from concentrate.
I think everyone is dehydrated, and especially as you get older, you're taking medicines. They're using more hydration.
Yep.
There's a lot of things.
I'm taking medicines.
Yeah,
They
so
got me on a million things.
You gotta hydrate yourself, and not just with basic bitch water, because what it's going to do is it's going to start to deplete your minerals even more.
You talked about trace minerals, very important, right?
So think about it. When it rains, it pulls down the nitrogen and the hydrogen and all these oxygens.
I never thought about that.
It rains. The water pulls that out, and that's what feeds the plants. But we're more than a plant. When the snow melts and it runs through the mountains, it picks up all those trace minerals. We need both of those things.
Wow.
And so when you get it from the coconut, it's giving you lots of that stuff. But when you drink water, you need to drink water with the trace minerals. And a lot of this purified water and the reverse osmosis, if you drink rainwater straight for 30 days, you get sick because it doesn't have those trace minerals. It'll start to take from your body and not give to your body.
Wow.
So that's, when you thinking about hydration.
You've studied this, obviously.
Brother.
My God.
When I go into something, I
Product knowledge, correct.
focus
I
and
love it.
laser in. I mean, I
love it.
I mean, I've been all over the world. I've had so many different coconuts. The different soils, the different things, and how they do it. And so, at the end of the day, it's about quality and not fooling yourself or lying to yourself, because the numbers won't lie and the taste won't lie to you.
Listen, a lot of us consume things that are unhealthy, but they're cheap and they're easy and they're available. And I found myself starving last night, like 10 o'clock at night. And I went to Uber Eats, and I'm thinking about getting that big hamburger, cheeseburger, 10 o'clock at night. And I've been going to the gym, I've been dieting, and I'm like, I get this whole order organized on the Uber Eats, but then I don't check out. I cancel it. Because they just said stop.
Just have a Coco Love with pulp and go to bed.
And well, I'm looking at that black can now. So let's.
You want to talk about Coco Love
Let's
Gold?
talk about Coco. But this is going to blow your minds, everybody. What? You're talking about something that's this is off the chain.
So this is Añejo tequila, the best quality tequila from Mexico.
Añejo tequila.
And then it means año is year.
Right.
It means that it's aged for over a year, the tequila. Añejo is the best
Añejo.
of, smoothest, and Coco Love. So this right here is going to change the game of RTD drinks. It's smooth.
Wow.
It's wonderful, man.
Well, let me have some of this. I have a date next Monday night. I got a couple of these cans. What does it say? It says Signature Spirit. I love the colors.
Black and gold.
I love it. I love it. It's so cool. Michelob Premium has something like this for beer. Agave Spirit.
Yeah.
Because the tequila comes from agave, right?
Yeah.
And I've saw a thing that it has to be pure agave. A lot of times they use these mixed stuff and it's
And
shit.
see, the thing is that everybody's using chemicals and sugars
Correct.
and preservatives. There's only 2 ingredients in there.
Really?
Just the best quality coconut water and the best quality agave. It's the best. It's Coco Love Gold.
Now, if I drank this can, would I feel a buzz? Would I get a buzz?
If you drink a couple of them, for sure.
What
I mean,
about
it's 4.5% alcohol. It's like having a beer.
It's like having a beer.
Yeah. But
I feel good. If
but
I
you
have
know
a
what?
beer, I get a little buzz.
But the craziest part is that all alcohol is a depressant except tequila.
I know.
This is an accelerant. So you're going to feel happy, or you're going to want to fight somebody.
You might have to have another one. I'll never forget when I was a kid. We in my early 20s, I had friends that moved to L.A. and we went to visit them, and we drove down to Tijuana for a night. And I was introduced to mezcal.
Mezcal.
And we were all, they basically get you going, and next thing you know, you're chewing on worms. You do that? No. It's fucking nuts. Jewish kid from Long Island.
This guy had a snail yesterday. He had some escargot.
I love escargot. My kids like it.
It's not his jam.
I know, it's for me. I really dig it.
Markley freaked out.
Anything with garlic and butter, how could you not like that? You know what I mean? It's just beautiful. But yes, it's a texture thing. You got to sort of get used to it. You sort of got to get used to it. But so we were drinking mezcal and chewing worms, and I had a couple of very good tequila stories, but that's for another time.
But yeah, we've got all kinds of things coming out. Coco Love mimosas.
Now, you don't want to spread yourself too thin. As an experienced business guy, you understand that a little bit, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's a mistake that I made in the securities world. I was doing so well, I was on fire. Mm-hmm. So a lot of my personal advisors were pushing me to do more deals and more deals. At the time, I didn't realize it. Ego amigo thing. Because when we did a transaction, they were making money. They were making additional money. They had additional work, additional responsibility. You understand?
Yeah.
When we were just raking it in with the status quo, my closest people were not benefiting as much as I was, so to speak, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So they wanted to, they encouraged this transaction, that I mean, these are good men. Like if you sit in a barbershop, don't be surprised if somebody starts cutting your hair.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to really, as you grow, because I think you have, and I've said this to you off camera, I've said it to Markley, and I said it to a bunch of people. I've had a lot of different people come to me that want to sponsor my podcast. Mm-hmm. I'm growing literally daily. Daily. It's crazy. The other day I got 1,200 new followers in one day.
Amazing.
It's really crazy.
Beautiful.
Yeah. It's really, I'm experiencing something that's just wild. And I'm getting quality people like Wall Street people and just all different good people. A lot of engagement. And I've been very, reluctant if I'm going to say the Ross Spindell podcast brought to you by. Mm-hmm. That means I am now in. I am now every meeting I go to, every place I go. I'm as crazy as him. I hate to say it, but just in a different, maybe a more refined way.
The Jewish version.
Yeah, just and I think this is one of the greatest opportunities I've ever seen. I want you to know that.
Wow.
One of the greatest opportunities, and I've been for the beginning of cellular, for personal computing, Microsoft when it was friggin' a private placement. I mean, you don't understand. I've had founder shares in 100 companies, so you know, and I made a great deal of money. Neurocrine Biosciences, the stock trades on the New York Stock, $200 a share. I own it for pennies. I owned it for pennies. My clients bought it for 50 cents a share.
Unbelievable.
I'm just sharing that with you. So, I understand the value and I understand value, and I understand where value can go. Mm-hmm. Not all value succeeds, unfortunately.
No.
But if it's handled properly, and what I love about what you do, you're checking every box. You see, one of the things for me and for what I represent, I become a do-gooder. It's like the world is forced in my hand. Mm-hmm. I don't really care what anybody thought about me.
Right.
I do what I do, right? But now, because of the prison thing, and I was wrongly prosecuted and wrongly incarcerated, all these things, they muddled my name, my reputation, all these different things. I now have to, I've been forced to be a do-gooder. I want to do good, and I want to do it publicly.
Yeah.
I want to show the world who I am. That I'm not this fucking animal they made me out to be.
Right.
And they know it's bullshit, too. The government knows it's all bullshit. Everybody that's in the system looked at me and says, yeah, you got railroaded. Your case is all bullshit. I mean, everybody. Yeah. Judges, lawyers. I mean, what? Prosecutors. They all know my case is bullshit. And then all of a sudden you see what they did to Trump, the same New York prosecutors. I mean, just dirty business. I was a victim of lawfare long before Donald Trump, but it's hard. They didn't have that coin term then. You know what I mean? They did it to me in the dark, like they did to a lot of people. But Coco Love Gold. I can't believe how exciting this is.
It's so exciting.
And this is the same coconut water.
Same exact coconut water.
Infused with quality.
Añejo tequila.
Añejo. Right from the agave plant. And they say that tequila is literally the only alcohol that you can put in your body that's actually good. It's good for your stomach health. Yeah. They say that.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
And tequila's really taken off, so it's a good
Imagine the best cocoa water and great tequila together.
That's it. I can imagine it. You're holding it.
This to me is like, did you produce a lot of this or just a couple of ski? How does that work?
We're doing a whole plan to take it all across the country. It's coming.
I haven't shipped this kind of thing yet.
No, we didn't. We're going to drop it in a few months. We're lining up all the distribution now.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love Scott is connected with a zillion people. He launched Rock and Roll Tequila. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Scott's a founder of Rock and Roll Tequila.
Okay.
Yeah.
Game on.
He actually founded it.
Well, we'll have to. We got to go see him. He's in.
He's in the other room.
Really?
That's the guy we saw.
Oh, well,
That's Scott with all the awards on his thing.
Okay.
Yeah, and I advised him, just so you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So Coco Love Gold. I'm psyched.
We just had a Super Bowl party at his house for everybody.
That was at his house?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got a beautiful,
awesome.
His wife's a huge decorator. They have a big business.
Amazing.
He did the Coco Rita.
Yeah.
It was a hit.
Unbelievable. Mark Lee, you should see this man work a crowd. It's
he's the best.
Hit the whole neighborhood, though. He got the whole neighborhood watching product. The whole neighborhood says, where do we buy
Where
it?
is it?
I swear I'm not kidding. This Tiffany called me up. She's called me once. I know this lady 20 years. She called me up. She goes, my neighbor's hawking. He goes,
give me some more of that
coconut. Can we get some of that coconut? I said, it's funny because Coco Vinny.
Everybody needs a little love in
their life. Coco Markley is coming to your studio.
Everybody needs a little love in their life.
So excited.
I mean, think about all the hate. Think about how we're divided on every issue.
It's crazy.
You even have the Jews fighting against each other. You got all this weird division everywhere. We need more love. The world needs more love.
Goodness.
And Coco Love.
Health.
We're here to help and hydrate the world.
I love
That's
it.
I mean, love it. And we're only here for a short time. Put the best quality things in your body and live the best quality life you can.
I love it. It's like a movement.
That's it.
It's like a whole thing. It's good, and good. It checks every box.
The Coco Truth will set you free. You taste any of that other stuff, that's the Coco Hate. You come to the Coco Love side of things, you're going to be feeling good.
Yeah, you know what it is? You don't really even have to say anything about the competition. I hate to say it.
There's no competition.
When you're so good, just try it.
I tell people,
just try it.
Run your race.
Right.
Don't worry about what anybody else is doing.
Exactly.
Just run your race.
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane. Own your space.
I love it.
It's it.
I love it.
And execute.
Okay, now, Vinny, how old are you?
46.
Married?
Yeah, I'm engaged. I've got a beautiful baby named Coco.
I love it.
She's 17 months.
I have 2 daughters.
Yeah,
There's nothing like a daddy-daughter thing, bro.
She's got blue eyes, which is wild because we both have brown eyes. It's unbelievable.
Whoa.
She's a miracle. Coco.
I love it.
And I've been wearing this citrine stone.
Let me see.
So, citrine?
Yeah.
Okay, that's an abundant stone. I've been wearing this, and I used to carry citrine around for 30 plus years since I was a kid. And Coco's birthstone is citrine, which is wild.
When's her birthday?
November 20th.
Scorpio.
Yeah.
On the cusp, really, but Scorpio. Good people.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I
she's
love
awesome.
it. This is great. Now, so you came to Florida. You have a lot of meetings, right?
Yeah, we just did the whole cruise ship show, F&B at Sea. I spoke with all the top cruise ships. We were already in 3 major cruise lines.
Okay.
Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, Princess Cruises.
3 big cruise lines.
Holland America's coming on. All of them.
Beautiful.
They're all coming to the.
Now they're going to do the actual coconuts, or they do everything.
They do everything. We do fresh branded tap coconuts as well as Coco Love.
You ship that as well.
Oh yeah, man.
You ship those fresh branded coconuts?
No. Those are special. They have to be by our facilities because it's cold chain product.
Right.
But it's all custom. So
I have a facility right on the Vegas Strip practically, and I deliver to all the casinos on the Strip. And so we have a production line and everything.
But you have to have a facility somewhat nearby to be accommodative.
For sure.
That's fresh stuff.
They run out. You're like the milkman.
Yep.
You're doing 2 and 3 deliveries a week.
And you have to organize all
I got
this.
my crew, my trucks, my warehousing, everything's tight. So, yeah.
It's a real business, huh?
Hey, you know, if you want to tap them, slap them, rip them, dip them, and ship them, you got to have shit together.
I'm not even going to try to knock that little saying off. I love it, you know.
What do they say? You got to buy the dip and sell the rip, baby.
I love it. I love it. I love it more than you know. I love your whole thing. More than sure you were never a stockbroker. I think you really.
I used to help a lot of companies raise money, some small cap public companies. I understand all that stuff. I've been in the game a little bit.
Yeah. You speak as if you're in the game, which is very.
We're in the Coco game now, baby.
It's very comfortable for me. We're in the Coco game.
It'll never be the same.
I think this is going to be. This is a 10 billion. You're going to get bought out for somewhere between 5 and 10 billion. Whether it's going to be Pepsi or Coke or which
the end
Diageo,
goal.
I'm not sure who's going to buy you, but
The end goal here is to deliver something legacy driven. It's not just about the flip, which if they come with those big checks and the big zeros, we're going to be forced to sell probably.
You'll make a deal.
But at the end of the day, we're here to deliver the best quality hydration, and we're going to plant those 1,000,000 trees.
I believe that.
When I put 1,000,000 trees in the ground, we're going to have a multi-billion-dollar asset, period. End of story.
I believe that.
And we already have a multi-billion-dollar brand. The Coco Love is going. We can't stop the Coco locomotive. It's on the tracks, baby.
It's moving.
And we already pushed it up the hill, and it is flying down.
Well, still it needs love and needs tend. You got to tend to your flock.
We're on it.
You got to tend to your flock. It's you're growing a pretty big flock.
Are you fucking kidding me? It's amazing.
I mean, how many people do you have involved in this?
We've got our team is growing every day. We've hired 3 people this week. We're up to like 20 people already.
Wow.
In each city, we've got distribution centers and warehousing from Seattle, Vegas, Hawaii, California, Florida, Texas. We're just growing.
And what happens
Puerto
in
Rico,
Vietnam? How do these
container
cans,
loads?
They canned in Vietnam.
Everything's canned at the source from the tree.
And they're
bang,
shipped
boom.
in by big container
loads.
ships.
I got 40, 50, 100 containers in the water.
Wow.
I mean, it's just,
I
and
understand.
they're landing like Miami, Puerto Rico, Texas,
It's just
Cali,
a logistics
Hawaii.
challenge. And where's home right now? Where do you live? Where's little Coco growing up?
Little Coco's growing up on the road with us, but Hawaii, California, Vegas, and here in Florida, we're all over.
All right, but Coco's 17 months. So I had 4 homes. We were traveling everywhere, and then one day I come home, and the wife says, "Please sit down." And I'm like, "Oh." And there's brochures all over this. We have this huge dining room table. There's all these brochures. She says, it's like musical chairs. When the music stops, you got to sit down if there's a chair. She goes, "You have children now. Our daughter has to have roots. We got to get her in pre-K. The kids are learning now, so we have to decide where we're gonna raise our children."
We're not doing that traditional root thing.
But she
homeschool. We're going to homeschool.
You think you're going to do homeschool?
We know we're going to do homeschool.
Okay, that's big. Wasn't really an option 20 years ago.
Yeah, no. There's a lot of programs, a lot of good stuff. We can hire the right people to help us, but let me tell you, I don't trust what's going on in this world right now. I don't want anybody else raising my kid.
I love it because it's disgusting.
I'm keeping her right here with me.
It's disgusting.
She came to me into the Costco meeting, and she closed Costco for me. I brought Coco into the Costco meeting, and it closed because of her.
Well,
I'm not doing anything traditional.
Wild.
I'm the untraditionalist.
I'm a disruptor. The same way. Front page Wall Street Journal disruptor.
We have a thing called our core values, and the number one thing is not trailblazer. We're trail makers. It means that we got the dynamite. We're blowing through the mountain too.
I love it.
And
you got the machete, and you're friggin' hacking away.
Trailblazers can come behind us. We're the trail makers.
I understand.
And we don't do anything, status quo or like anybody else.
You are the third impressive man. You're still a young man to me, in your 40s. I'm 68. And you're the third guy this month, impressive man, that I've interviewed that has a youngster or young children homeschooling. They don't trust the system. They don't. My kids went to the most expensive private school in Florida, and they did well. But what's been revealed in the last sort of political cycles with that these people want to sex changes and don't tell the
Weird stuff,
parents.
but-
I mean, it's freaky. It's like
all
people
weird.
acting out sexual fantasies.
But at the end of the day, they are training your kids to be an employee.
Yeah, indoctrinating them.
And
yes.
I'm not. Coco's going to be in
A
charge.
boss.
Coco's a boss already. She's going to be in charge of 1 million trees. She's going to be in charge
I
of
get it.
of lots of different things that you're not going to get at traditional schooling. And she's on the road with us. We're on the job training right now. She's learning. She's meeting so many cool people. She's
I get it.
she's in the room.
You know, I'll tell you. So I'm in prison. They send me to this building in Miami, FDC Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, it's a transition spot. An embarkation point. You stay there for a little bit, and then they ship you off. But they decided to keep me there because they were punishing me. 19 months. And I go in. You ever hear of El Chapo?
Mm-hmm.
El Chapo's a guy, but he is. So I was in a room with the El Chapo of Guatemala.
Oh wow.
And I'm with this guy about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, getting along nicely. Looked very similar to you. Big guy, smart guy, young but smart, sharp, his clear eyes. You know, I understand. You know, in there you're like hyper alert, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And calls me boss. And I said, if you don't mind me, Louis, I said, if you don't mind me, why do you say that? I'm just curious. He goes, I grew up in the jungles of Guatemala. I have thousands of soldiers in the jungles. Everything that gets transported anywhere past Guatemala, they got to pay him a toll.
Uh-huh.
It's like very organized. It's shocking.
Yeah.
And he says to me, in my world, there's only two types of men. There are bosses and there are workers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a boss. I'm a boss out there. I'm a boss in here. I mean, he was doing things for people and all that, and they were paying homage. I mean, it was like really I've never even seen it in a movie yet.
Mm-hmm.
That's how dramatic it was in real life. It's beyond belief. And he goes, you walked in here, and within a minute, I knew you were a boss. You've been a boss your whole life. And I was laughing because I am, I'm not a worker. I work for myself, and I work for other people on behalf. But I've never had a job since I'm 17 years old, and I was
Same
a
here.
waiter.
Same.
I mean,
I waited tables. I was a singing waiter.
But even when you do that, you're your own boss. Like I have my own
For
section.
sure. I changed the whole thing. I mean, people were making like $50 a day. I was making $400 a day. I was singing to the tables because when I sang, I made 10 times more tips, and they were like, I wasn't even that great of a singer, but they pay me to shut up. So
It's really funny.
I mean, the thing is that the only person that gives orders is boss, right? But there's just two. You either got it or you don't.
But you understand that's in that world they look at it. It's very cut and dry.
Game recognizes game. Period.
Boss, worker. That's
it.
And he taught me that, and I was like,
Queen bee, worker bee. That's it.
Yeah, they don't in the jungle. I guess they don't differentiate. There's no rap. There's no
Yeah.
vice presidents.
Yeah.
It's like you're the boss or you're the worker.
Yeah.
I want to say, Vinny, what a privilege it's been today.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
You're a young man still. 5 years out. What do we see for Vinny, Coco Vinny? What's happening? 5 years.
Bigger numbers, baby. I mean, we're going to be doing, in 5 years, we'll be over $250 million in revenue.
I was going to say a couple $100 million a
We're
year.
going to be in $250 million in revenue, and we'll have lots more assets and a lot
Public
more people.
company.
Probably be public or even just have very, very large private distribution companies that own us. But whatever happens, happens. We're going to be doing the same thing, bringing the love to the people.
Driving Coco Love.
And, I mean, planting trees, it's Coco Love.
Coco
Gold.
Love gold.
Come on.
I mean gold.
That's right.
I love it. So
we're going to be doing our thing, and we're going to be having fun. And I'm, hopefully, God willing, we'll be in every Costco, we'll be in every Walmart, we'll be in everywhere.
Costco? You're going to be in the Costco?
We're already in all the Costcos in Hawaii. All the business centers are coming online. We're just growing.
How big is Costco in America? It's big, right?
It's one of the best membership companies in the world. It's a brilliant model.
And Walmart's the biggest retailer in the world. Can you get Walmart?
We already got Walmart.
But I mean, corporate,
Oh, it's done. Yeah, we already. They're a great customer.
Bentonville, Arkansas.
Oh yeah.
I once slept in Fayetteville Airport.
Did you really?
It was a one-stop shop, and I was going to see Walmart. This is in 1981 or 82.
Wow.
It was a little dinky airport. Walmart was just on the come up.
Yeah.
And I went there to sell them ladies' handbags before I went to the stock market. And I had 4 sample bags, and they were like the biggest account. And my samples did not arrive
Oh my God.
in Arkansas like I did. My samples ended up getting sent to like Seattle. I'm in Arkansas.
Damn.
And I said, I was supposed to get the next morning, I was supposed to go
Have your meeting.
Yeah. And it took us a month or 2 to get the meeting. And there was, at that time, so I'm waiting in the airport. It's a little dinky airport, and there's a security cop, and he wants to lock the door. And I said, I'm not leaving until I have my sample cases.
Mm-hmm.
They said, son, they've been rerouted, and they should be here early in the morning. I said, sir, I hope you don't mind. My whole life is on the line. And I'll get very dramatic because it's business, it's very important. I'm not going to go to some hotel because the hotel was right by Walmart,
Right.
you know, in Bentonville. I'm at Fayetteville Airport. And so I refused to leave the airport. He let me sleep, locked me in the airport.
Locked you in there.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah. And then just like you said, like 5:40 in the morning, all of a
Back
sudden
shot.
those 4 giant cases, the rotunda goes off. And everyone, they open the airport at like 5:30, 5:15, whatever.
So you made the meeting.
I got my suitcase erecto. It was horrible.
Oh my God.
It was really, really rough.
Tough to do a meeting when you're sleeping on the floor.
There was no cell phones. There was no
No anything.
laptops or iPads and all these
Beepers,
different things.
nothing.
I'm lost. I'm in the middle of friggin' Arkansas, and I got no samples.
That
And
sucks.
you know, what am I going to tell my bosses? You know, I'm like, they weren't my boss. I worked for. It was like a family business. I was
Yeah.
working for myself, but representing a manufacturer.
Uh-huh.
And it took us over a month to get this appointment. What are we going to say? Yeah, you know, the airport fucked up. No, I said no. I'm staying. I slept on a bench. It was very funny.
It's a crazy story.
A real
I
true
love it.
story. But that's some outfit. Walmart, you get a Walmart corporate, and I don't know how you even ship all that. I don't know how you ship all these goods. Are there enough coconuts?
Yeah. Well, we're gonna max it out.
You know what I mean, right?
We're gonna keep planting trees. We're gonna max it out.
Yeah.
If we max it out, we've done our job.
If we planted if the 3 of us went out there and planted a couple of palm trees today, how long before we have a tree, and then how long before we have coconuts?
Depending on the tree, you can get a tree with fruit in 6 years.
6 years.
Yep.
Wow. So we got to get going.
But listen, talking about planting seeds, this is for all the young guys out there who think they're going to just go viral and make it real quick. The same day you plant the seeds, not the same day you harvest the fruit.
Of course.
You got to go through seasons. You got to be seasoned. What does it mean to be seasoned? It means you got to have patience, and you got to go through it. And you got to tend to your soil. If you're going to plant a seed, make sure you water it. And if you're going to water it, make sure you're going to harvest it. If you're going to harvest it, make sure you get that fruit to market, baby.
I love
And
it.
don't be a little bitch. You got to be real with it and real with yourself. If you want something bad enough, find the way.
Find a way.
Plant your seeds. Water your fruit. Get it done.
Mr. Coco Love himself. Thank you so much, my brother.
Hey, brother.
I love it.
Thank you so
I
much.
love it.
I
What
appreciate
do they
you.
say? Mahalo? In
Mahalo.
Hawaii?
Yes. Well, we say all kinds of things, you know. Toda abba. We say gracias. Mahalo.
I love it.
You know, dzień dobry, spasiba, whatever we got to say, we say it. And it's,
Plant the seeds, harvest the fruit.
yes, sir.